Greetings! Opinions on so-called true force loneliness, or TFL, are strongly divided. Some insist the condition is fact. Others insist it's non-existent. To understand my view, you must watch this entire video, so listen on. First, here are sentiments from a woman who doesn't believe TFL exists. I noticed a common trend with so-called TFL guys. They're usually very boring, narcissistic, and most are jerks with terrible personalities. All bad attributes that no self-respecting woman would want to deal with. Her observations may be true, but if just one man was shown to not fit those observations, her arguing that TFL doesn't exist would be a black swan fallacy, as the existence of one black swan proves that not all swans are white. Moreover, there may be numerous large bevies and wedges of black swans. Secondly, even if all TFL men were jerks, numerous women do lack self-respect and who would then be available for TFL men. Mafia men, dope dealers, abusers, and sociopaths usually have normal relationships with women and have numerous friendships, but TFLs don't. She also said, my advice to TFL men would be to pick themselves up, abandon the TFL label, and move from there. Once they do that, they can take the proper steps to attract women. Having a TFL mindset will always keep them single and lonely. That's good advice if, and only if, men can truly do something about their situation. Now, how in the world can a man who had catatonic schizophrenia since he was a teenager and whose family is broken and bankrupt pick himself up so he becomes desirable to women? Besides this example of my friend of 20 years, there is a definite and glaring pattern of men with mental conditions being completely rejected and shut out, even by women who have those same handicaps. Besides, many parents of such men can testify that yes, indeed, they have no ability to get a date or form a long-term relationship. Must we suppose that their parents, who know these men better than anyone else, are also deluded? My father, an outgoing, conservative, masculine man who is married over 50 years and is a retired successful businessman, advised me to give up on women as opposed to doing something to improve myself in that area. So you're saying he's ignorant? Then there are claims that numerous men with autism or Asperger's have successful long-term relationships. But deceivers may claim autism or Asperger's when they don't have it, or claim severe cases of such conditions when they're only mild cases, which allows them to function normally, or quasi-normally. This is the pity play, a common tactic among sociopaths. Instead, those who truly have autism or Asperger's, really got it, are always born with it, which conditions, by definition, always harm the person's ability to socialize. So what makes my view different is that I have identified males that wrongly identify as TFL, where they can change their attitude and situation, and those who truly qualify as TFL, as opposed to the condition either being always fictitious or always true. First, ask yourself if you have a characteristic that may make your TFL claim false. Do you have a bad temper around women? Are you only out for sex? Do you tell dirty jokes or use excessive profanity around women? Do you neglect your hygiene before meeting women? Do you fail to consider as prospective mates' feelings and desires? Are you very lazy and lack motivation? Do you insist that there must be a limit on a woman's weight, or she must have certain looks before you're interested? If you can truthfully say no to all those questions, you might be TFL. By far, the most reliable indicator for true force loneliness is a mental condition such as, like I said, ADHD, Asperger's, autism, bipolar, Down syndrome, OCD, that's obsessive compulsive disorder, schizophrenia, and such like. You might have at least a mild version of one of these conditions, even if you're totally unaware of it. Another glaring indicator is a man being strongly disliked by most other men as well. Being popular with other men would be inconsistent with TFL. Of course, love, respect, and affection are earned and not given for nothing, but there are many cases where it was earned but still withheld. A final sentiment from a woman who denied that TFL exists. Of course, women don't owe men anything, and men don't owe women anything. Therefore, nobody can force anybody to be alone. Nay, rather, this modernist idea is one of the most blatantly false doctrines in existence. It should be obvious that men and women were designed to be dependent on each other from how their bodies were created. They had no choice but to owe their lives to one another until proper gender roles were destroyed by modern craziness and perverted technology such as artificial insemination. In conclusion, the denial that true forced loneliness exists is a method of self-deception used to mask the fact that all women might be either bigots, ignorant, or both. Are there black swan exceptions? I've never found one. Though all men and women have become degenerate, since we're all dirty sinners, most women have in addition departed much further from God's plan. Now here's why it's good to identify as TFL if you are such. For some men, it's no easier to find a mate by doing their best to seek and please a woman than it is to find a woman by continuously banging their head against a wall. And your basic personality can never change. By no longer trying, you save yourself a large amount of time. You save yourself money, and you save yourself from great aggravation and depression and whatnot. And what's even better than identifying as TFL is identifying as a man who goes his own way, a path away from insane society. Here are some things to be thankful for. If you are TFL, incel, or something similar, you are avoiding women who are completely selfish and self-serving. Some such women are easily known by their declaring that they expect to be treated like princesses or queens, or even goddesses, or they want to be spoiled. All men should avoid such women like they avoid rattlesnakes. There are no princesses or queens walking around the USA, though it looks like the dodo bird didn't actually go extinct. All women are only regular Janes who should never be spoiled, but instead should be equal contributors to the family unit. Take care.